Your image is your message for the world to see. So it is a non-verbal communication tool. Once you understand this as a foundation, as a building block, then let me introduce you the 5 pillars or the 5 important elements you need to work on in order to build a greater influence through your image branding. Remember just now I mentioned that image branding is not just about fashion, styling, appearance. Yes, it is only a fraction of it. Why I say a fraction of it? Because from this diagram, you will see that image presentation or your appearance is only one part. But the whole picture of image branding has 5 levels or 5 pillars. It's like when you're constructing a building, you will realize that first you need to have a very firm foundation, strong and firm foundation in order you can build your pillars. The same with image branding. Now, the basic foundation is number 1, your identity mastery. All right, who you are, your identity. I will go more in depth on that as I come along. Identity is more of who you are inside. Then once you have that sorted out, then we go into who you are outside, your appearance, how your dressing, how your style communicates, even scents, perfume, how does it communicate? So the inside, the outside, and now image branding is never about you yourself. It is about prepping who you are inside and outside to go and influence. So the 3rd level comes into social influence. If you can follow me, inside, outside, reaching out to people, building rapport and engagement and connection. And then the 4th level is digital impression. Nowadays, especially post-COVID, we can't ignore how we form impression in people's mind through social media, digital impression. And finally, at the end of it is emotional performance. Why I put emotional performance, you will realize, or many of you will ask, what has emotion got to do with my image? In my years as image coach, I have seen enough people who did well, level 1, level 2, package themselves very well. Social influence, they are able to fake it till they make it, and they have enough resources to brand themselves on social media. All the 4 levels is really good, but when it comes to emotional regulation, this is one area that collapses a lot of brands, famous people. Emotional performance is very, very important, right? So this is the 5 aspects of things that we need to look into. What are the elements you need to look at when you want to build your image branding roadmap? Remember the 5 levels. So first is identity mastery, personal identity mastery. The things that you need to look into is your brand story. First is discover your purpose. Because at the end of the day, what you do, how you spend your time really comes back to your why. Why you do what you do. What are you uniquely created so good to do? Discover your purpose. And in this crafting your brand story, you need to know your core values, what is important to you, what matters to you, because knowing your core values, can easily remove all the stress. So it applies to a lot of other aspects of life as well. Your core values determines the direction, where you are going. So you need to know all this. You also need to discover what is your power, what is your strength, or what are your fears and limiting beliefs, basically what stops you. Because at the end of it, sometimes we know the potential that we can achieve, but then yet there are so much fears and things that hold us back. We need to go and sort that out, because otherwise it's just like a kite being pulled and directed by these strings. Sometimes this string that connects the kite is invisible. That prevents us from soaring high. So we need to know what our fears, what hold us back. And at the end of this personal identity mastery, you create your brand message. Because Why is this part important? Because once you create your brand message and your brand message is clear, this will lead you into curating your signature style. How should I look on the outside that are congruence of my brand message of who I am on the inside? This leads us to the second level. How do you curate your signature style? Now, a lot of people are clueless about this. So how do I dress? A lot of people ask, how do I dress? What hairstyle should I go? So what is your reference point? A lot of people will follow what is the trend, right? You will Google what is in, what is out, what everyone else is wearing, and then you follow. Is this right for you? Because what is right and working for other people may not work for you. Because once you understand that there is psychology of styles and design, there are psychology of colors behind all the other colors. Some colors may not work for you. Some colors work well for you. There's psychology of scents, even perfume. What kind of perfume should I use? Right. I mean, now perfume is not so important compared to the time when we actually meet with people and we use cologne and perfume, because cologne and perfume communicates messages into people's mind. When they smell a certain sense, it activates a certain understanding of who is this person. Now, I love to use this example. Have any of you ever experienced going into an elevator or a lift, and as the elevator door closes, even though you're alone, it closes, and then you have this sense of a perfume of the previous person that was in the lift. Yes, right, Josh? Yeah. So I always, in malls, in offices, I go into the elevator, and then, Durga also say yes, and the elevator lift closes, and then I smell this sense of either cologne, a man cologne, or a lady's perfume. And when I smell it, even though the person is not there, I have this impression of a picture of who this person is. Automatically, I have this picture of, wow, must be in suit, must be, in high heels, or perhaps, a more relaxed kind of dressing, a very hip hop kind of style, a casual, sporty style, I have this picture automatically in my mind. Why? Because sense brings out impression. So we need to understand the psychology of all this, the style, the design, for the guys, here, in the past you wear tie, a straight line tie compared to a plain tie, compared to a paisley tie. The design of your tie conveys a certain message. Now, my question is that, does that message congruent with the brand message that you want to convey? So now you begin to see that my signature style is just not about, in the morning opening my wardrobe and say, oh, what should I wear? I just haphazardly reach out to a shirt or to a dress and then wear it. It's not. It is your non-verbal communication tool. So you need, in second level, how to curate your signature style. You need to understand the psychology of your wardrobe and the language of dressing. So, and how to align your inward as well as your outward identity. Then we go into how to level up your social influence. Understanding social mannerism, professional etiquettes and protocols is important. How to anchor your executive presence, understanding how body language speaks on your behalf. So this is the third level. And then on the online impression mastery, you need to look into when was the last time you did digital impression wellness check. So I want to challenge all of you tonight. Maybe tomorrow you ask your friend, or you can actually type on your social media, asking people who do not know you, your Facebook contact, your LinkedIn contact, just ask them. It's good to hear what people say. Ask them this question. When you scroll through my social media, what is the first impression that you have of me? Ask them. Their answer will show you the brand message that you have been conveying. When you get the answer from your friends, from public, from social media contacts, gather the answers, and then you check, are those answers the brand message that you want to convey? If it's yes, good. If it's no, that means you have been conveying wrong messages. Now, how to correct this? So check your profile and brand reputation. Check through what are your tone of voice? What are the contents on your social media? Because all this platform speaks on your behalf. Even the picture, profile picture, does it really brings out that identity in you? How do you stand out virtually? When we meet on virtual meeting, do I create a good impression in people's mind? At the end of the session, right? Let's say if tonight's meeting, we have 50 or 100 people, how can I make people remember me out of the 50 or 100 people? Remember, standing out is not about narcissism, it's not about being a celebrity or being a famous. Standing out open doors to bridging the gap, to bringing out that influence, maximizing the impact that you have in people around you. And lastly is the emotional stability. How do we develop a leadership, a servanthood leadership? How do I show example of serving before leading? How do I cultivate habits of effective leadership behavior and attitude? Okay, and at the same time, emotional stability. How do I regulate the balance of heart, soul, mind, and body? We know that first impression, you only have 7 seconds in creating a powerful and impactful first impression. What are you doing in these first 7 seconds? Are you making a mark that you want to make, or are you self-sabotaging? And before I end, this is my quote to you. If you want to stand out, you want to be heard, you want to be seen, we need to make some noise. And not noisy gong of noises, but heart-touching, lives-touching kind of noise. How do we do that?